Has Jamaica already sold off its future oil riches before a single drop of oil has been found? Not one oil well has been drilled in Jamaica's waters. There are no proven oil reserves, and yet the Jamaican government has already signed a contract with United Oil and Gas, locking in the government's share if oil is discovered. In a previous video, I shared that based on the latest exploration data, the chances of striking oil are stronger than ever before. Which raises a serious question. Has the Jamaican government given away too much too early without even knowing what they have? Now, I am not here to tell you what to think. I am here just to lay out the facts, provide the full context, and leave you to decide. Because if oil is found, and that is still a very big if, this debate will get loud, emotional, and perhaps very messy. Now first, let's understand where Jamaica really stands. Despite all the excitement around oil exploration in Jamaica, Jamaica still has no proven oil resources. There have been seismic surveys, promising geological structures, and even confirmed oil seeps offshore. But no exploration well has ever been drilled, and no oil has ever been produced. Now, in the oil industry, until you drill and confirm discovery, it's all just theory. And right now, Jamaica is what the industry calls a frontier market. Untested, unexplored, and high risk. Despite this, Jamaica has already entered into a production sharing agreement with United Oil and Gas. Now, under this agreement, if oil is found, the Jamaican government would receive about 42% of the revenue after the company recovers its exploration and development costs. At first glance, 42% might sound fair, but when you look at how other countries handle their first oil deals, it puts things into perspective. Now let's talk about Guyana, for example. In 2016, the government of Guyana signed a production sharing agreement with ExxonMobil and its partners in the Starbrook block, a 2% royalty on gross production, up to 75% of the oil used for recovery cost. The remaining oil, called profit oil, is split 50-50 between the government and the oil companies. Now in total, Guyana's effective government take was about 52%. But the crucial detail is this. When that agreement was signed in 2016, ExxonMobil had already discovered a major oil reserve in the Liza 1 well, located squarely in Guyana's territorial waters. The oil was already proven, and not just a little, it was a world-class discovery. This is why ExxonMobil's deal with Guyana is often criticized today. Many believe that Guyana negotiated a frontier risk style contract, even though there was no longer true exploration risk. The oil was already found. And also bear in mind that Guyana's neighbor, Venezuela, has a very large oil reserve. Now, critics argue that Guyana could and should have pushed for tougher terms once the discovery was confirmed. Now, compare that with Jamaica's situation today. Jamaica has no confirmed discoveries, no proven reserves. No neighboring country, neither Haiti or the Dominican Republic, have a significant offshore field. However, Cuba does have some modest onshore reserves near its northern coast. This means that Jamaica is not only unproven, it's surrounded by unproven waters as well. So the geological risk is extremely high. Now, some people might ask, why didn't the government of Jamaica invest directly into exploration to secure a bigger stake in future discoveries? The answer is perhaps very straightforward. The risk is just too high. Jamaica is not a rich country. Public funds are needed urgently for education, healthcare, housing, and infrastructure. Spending tens of millions of US dollars on a high-risk drilling campaign would have been financially and politically very dangerous. And if the government had invested and no oil was found, the same critics saying Jamaica gave away too much might then say Jamaica wasted taxpayers' money on a fantasy. So it's a no-win situation. That's why Jamaica chose a model where private companies like United Oil and Gas took on 100% of the exploration risk. Now, it's also important to understand the scale of the risk that UOG is taking on. Now, I am sure in the event that oil is found, people will say, oh, well, this was always a calculated risk because they had to have some level of confidence to even start the exploration in the first place. The truth is, all of that might be true, and it's all up for debate, and I want to hear it. So comment below. So far, United Oil and Gas has invested over 39.3 million US dollars into their Jamaican offshore exploration efforts. Now, that's a significant sum, especially when no oil well has yet been drilled. Their confidence is built on years of seismic data, geological surveys, and independent assessments suggesting strong prospects. I have pointed out before that energy consultants Gaffney Klein and Associates audited the data, and their review suggested that up to 2.4 billion barrels of oil could be found in Jamaica's waters in the Walton Morant Basin. And UOG's own estimates puts this figure as high as 7 billion barrels. But again, until a well is drilled, nobody knows for sure. Now, back to the big question. What happens if oil is found? The agreement between Jamaica and United Oil and Gas is legally binding. If oil is discovered, Jamaica cannot simply change the terms of the contract, because doing so could trigger lawsuits, arbitration, and damage Jamaica's reputation with future investors. Now, we've seen these kinds of disputes happen before in Venezuela, Ecuador, and in other countries, and they usually end very badly. Whether Jamaica's 42% share ends up looking smart or short-sighted will depend entirely on the scale of any future discovery. If oil is found, even a 42% share could mean massive new revenue, enough to transform Jamaica's economy in ways we can barely imagine today, if the government spends it correctly. However, if a huge discovery is made and Jamaica's share looks small compared to the profits of the oil companies, the backlash could be fierce. Now, at the end of the day, it all hinges on one thing: drilling that first well. If oil is found, this debate will shift from theory to a hard reality. And the decisions made today, quietly, without fanfare, will shape Jamaica's economy, its politics, and its future for decades to come. So, did Jamaica sell off its oil for cheap? I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments, because maybe, maybe not. But one thing is certain, we're closer than ever to finding out.